things, and you, this is an extreme example of what can happen. What happens is that the thumb bone, the metacarpal, wants to move into the palm, and that throws off the alignment of all the tendons that extend and open the hand, and you can kind of get stuck with your hand in an inward position, and that is not functional, and that you don't want that to happen. So the more you can protect and use joint protection, the less likely this is to happen. This would probably be a case where you would actually need to have surgery. So this is an example of how you can protect the joint from moving as in the diagram I showed you. This is a small little splint that's called Push MetaGrip. It was designed by a therapist. And if you use this or put this on while you're doing activities, you won't have that tendency for those bones to move so much in your hand. So it's very protective to be used while you're doing things during the day. The principles of joint protection and how to protect joint is, first of all, realizing that pain is a warning sign. And when you have pain in doing something, it means, wait, try to find another way to do it. Maybe if you're carrying an object, you want to keep the weight close to your body and use your larger, stronger muscles and larger joints to accomplish the task. Also keep in mind proper body mechanics. Obviously, you don't want to stress your back by bending down. You want to try to do those activities with your legs. So other ways to avoid activities like sustained tight gripping that also causes pain and destruction in your hand. You can use a built-up handle on tools. There's a lot of these you can buy off Amazon. OXO is a company that makes built-up, spongy, soft, big handles that make doing chores around the kitchen much, much more comfortable and less destructive to your joints. If you have a particular item that you use a lot, you can just buy this foam roll in different diameters, slide it on, and create your own. Okay, caring for kids and babies. I'm going to talk about feeding, dressing, bathing, carrying, lifting, and then finally about car seats. This is what I have found is really nice, are these little squeeze containers of baby food rather than having to open a jar. Opening jars are like one of the worst things and one of the most destructive on your joints. These little new ones, just you twist it, it's kind of got a lever, extended lever top, you twist it off, and then you can give it to the child and they can actually squeeze it and feed themselves. So those have been really good. As far as opening jars, we all have to open jars when we're in the kitchen, and there's a lot of different jar openers online. Again, Amazon, this one works well. It adjusts to different diameters. Also just something simple like this grippy, I use TheraBand, my exercise band, and I just plop it on top. And sometimes if you put it underneath also, because sometimes you have to stabilize on the top and the bottom. So this is another one on Amazon that I thought looked really great. And this is a non-abrasive grip tape. It actually is a roll of tape with a grippy surface on one side and sticky on the other. So you can put it on an item that you want to get a bit of grip with, whether it's a pan on a stove or a glass. And this is permanent and it goes in the dishwasher. Also around the kitchen for chopping, this is a rocker knife. There's various kinds of rocker knives, and so that you can rock it back and forth and rather than have to push hard. Also, I really wanted to just mention these little storage containers that I found at Container Store. It's called Anchor Hawking. And they're just soft, very soft, pliable tops with a little tab edge that you can grip on and pull them off easily, because some of these containers are extremely difficult to get off. So I just don't even bother with them. I get all of the things that have little tabs and little easy ways to remove. Example right here on the left, these little cups the kids use. I can't get them opened. They're annoying. So I use more of a twist top type of straw device. And then I just don't tighten it real hard. I just tighten it as much as I can do. And those work fine. And this is an example now of another product out. It's called Easy Peasy. It's a little cup. And their idea, this was made by a speech therapist, and their idea was, let's just kind of get the kids drinking out of regular cups a little sooner. So this one's kind of tapered at the top. It's soft and grippy. And those have been really good for the kids also. And then on the left is this plate arrangement that is just a mat that's made out of a sticky material, has all the compartments for food. And this way you just plop it down on the table and it sticks. So you don't have to worry about the kids, throwing the bowl of cereal on the floor and you got to pick it up. When you're finished, you pick up the whole mess that they've made, shake it out, and you can put this in the dishwasher. So that's been really good. As far as dressing, of course, I have 2 little girls. My grandkids are girls, so I just stick with dresses. But I think anything that's a one-piece, soft fabric, a little bit bigger, nothing tight, is the easiest thing for dressing. And as far as these sleep sacks or for anything, you look for attachments that are Velcro, or, because Velcro is so much easier than buttons and snaps. Buttons and snaps are the worst. You can get a little, what's called a button hook. You can order that online. And then on the right here, I have found these this product. They're called Magnetic Me. It's a company that makes clothes, all of them with fasteners that are magnets. And they're embedded well. I don't think it's dangerous. I mean, it seems like a really handy solution for people that have trouble, snapping or dealing with little buttons. Little buttons are hard. Zippers work okay. Sometimes you have to kind of get a little hook in there and give yourself a little more leverage. But they actually sell a little zipper hook for that also that you can order to help you with those little zippers. Diapering, again, I'm a grandma, so I don't have full-time kids at my house. So I have invested in a couple of these soft, large, lightweight changing, foamy things that I can put them on my table. I can put them various places. I have one upstairs, one down. So you certainly need 2 places if you've got an upstairs house. I want to mention the jar versus the squeeze. All of those squeeze tubes are hard for people that have CMC joint arthritis. So again, use the jar. You don't have to tighten it too much. And this little baby bum brush is nice because you can just scoop it out, put it on the baby, the Desitin, and then you don't get that sticky all over your hands. And I would recommend that, of course, you use diapers that have the sticky tabs. And this is great for bathing. It's called the Blooming Baby Bath. And it's a very soft, cushy, spongy kind of ploppy thing you put in the kitchen sink or in the laundry room upstairs, somewhere where you can be standing and you don't have to crawl down and kneel into the bathtub, obviously for a younger baby, and use the spray and give them a bath. And it's worked out really well for me. Again, emphasizing, use products with a pump bottle versus the squeeze. Pump bottles can be emptied and refilled with something else that doesn't come in a pump. And it just makes your life easier if you can. And again, it's less destructive to your hand if you can find these ways to do things and to not accelerate the progression of this, disease process that's happening in your hand. For strollers and moving around, of course, I immediately went to Target and got one of these umbrella strollers that are very lightweight and fold easy. Take a look at them, make sure you can operate all of the closing and opening. But they're fine for taking my grandkids out to the museum, the zoo, the park. And then I found this other thing. It's called Tush Baby, and it is a carrier where you kind of put it around your waist it's got a Velcro closure, but then you pop up the baby and they sit. And again, you can use your forearm to support their back, and you're not having to use your fingers so much. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about car seats. Car seats are important. If you're going to be babysitting your grandkids, you have to have a car seat. There's lots of different car seats, and they're all pretty darn hard to install. So I'm not even going to get into that, other than to mention that this Britex brand does have a new kind of technological system they've created that it's called the Click Tight. And several of their models have this installed. And what it does is it makes it easy for, you push and it tightens up and you don't have to pull that seatbelt strap hard to get the car seat tight. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking for a car seat that's a little easier to install. Now, this was the big problem that I had when my daughter first had a baby and I offered to help babysit. I started looking for a car seat for me, and I realized I really couldn't push that red button with sufficient force to open it. And I went around looking for different ones, and then I discovered that actually wrote the manufacturer to say, what is this? And apparently there's a federal law that they have to require 9 to 13 pounds of pressure to release. And this has to be done with your thumb. So I knew right away that kind of wasn't going to happen. And this was not an acceptable situation for me, because you got to be able to take your child caregiver out of the house. So being an occupational therapist, I was used to working with a material called, orthoplast or polyform. It's a thermoplastic material that you heat it and you can stretch it and cut it and twist it. And when it cools, it stays in the shape that you put it in. So I started fooling around with some that I had in my garage, and I came up with a product that ended up looking like this. And what this does is it utilizes the concept of the lever, a type 2 lever. And so this is like a simple machine. You simply slide the narrow bottom base underneath the buckle, and then you put a couple fingers under the bottom so you're not pushing on the child. And then you push on the end, the very tip of the product. You position the post right over the red button, push on the tip, and because it's a lever, it reduces the force or the amount you have to push by 60 to 70%. So this then became easy for me. And I mean, if you even, it really takes nothing. My daughter's 2-year-old was able to do it the other day herself. So it's not about pressure anymore, which is the thing you want to avoid. So, and as a matter of fact, these, of course, my daughter helped me take this to market. We're now selling these, and it's been just a lifesaver for so many grandparents. And if you are interested in this, you can purchase it at unbuckleme.com. That's our website. And with code Arthritis, we're giving 10% off. So just wanted to mention that. So thank you so much. And now we can hear from Cheryl.
Awesome. Thank